Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how to move your life forward, right? Specifically in the context of taking charge of limiting beliefs and limiting emotions and changing them so that you want to take action. And one of my main intentions for this video is for you to realize how much power that you have, that we all have, right? And that by taking ownership of our mind, right? Because our mind is a meaning making machine, as in it creates meaning, it creates perception, it creates our reality through thought, right? And then that perception, those thoughts create the emotion that we're experiencing, right? So take a moment to think of something that you want to have in your life, and I actually encourage you to go as big or small as you want with this. Okay. But for example, one thing that I've been resisting is getting on top of my physical health and my nutrition, right? I'm going to use a specific example of, shoot, I'll do something live right now. Okay. Eating a healthy meal today. All right. And so I'm going to run you through this process as I go through it myself, and hopefully you can pick up along the way how you can do this for yourself. Okay. So, for example, I start with, all right, I want to um, eat a healthy meal today. Okay. The first thing to recognize that I recognize is what comes up for me when I say that, right? When I have it on paper, when I have it in my mind. And what I do is obviously thoughts come up, but I personally prefer to tap into my body and see where the energy is sitting in the resistance. And for me, it's the solar plexus, uh, and kind of like my gut. Okay, my gut and my lower half. Okay, and if any of you are familiar with the chakra centers, okay, I'm talking about this, the yellow, the orange, and the red. All right. Even the heart. The heart is the green space. Okay, but we don't have to get into all that right now. And so I check into my body. Okay, and there's this feeling of resistance, and that resistance says, um, and this is where I just kind of let things come up and don't judge it, and just for the sake of processing and reflecting. Right. So what comes up for me is, I don't want to do it. That sounds boring. Um, um, you can't make me, and just humor me here as I really go into it. It's hard. It's gonna take a lot of work. So those are kind of like the surface things that come up, right? Now I'm gonna go even deeper with it. Okay, I'm gonna go even deeper with it. Um, because this is where sometimes it can link to much deeper issues at play, right? Traumas, insecurities, right? Okay, and for me personally, I know that there are baggages in this area. Okay, so as I go deeper, and I encourage you to do this for yourself, whatever it is you want to change or do. Okay, um, I'm really searching here. There's this fear of change, specifically fear of being more powerful, right? What happens then? Will I be judged? Will I lose love? Will I be able to follow through? There's that too. Fear of failing, fear of failing to maintain consistency. Okay. And it's funny because all of these thoughts are just charged up and held in the body through emotion. And we don't realize it, but these are the things that are ultimately driving whether we show up and do the damn thing or we don't. And I totally understand, willpower, discipline, just do it. I really do get that, and there's a place for that. Um, but what I've found for myself is that when I take a moment to identify what's really going on underneath the surface, because it's about the energy under the surface, right? It's not necessarily all the thoughts, it's the energy that the thoughts contain and how that energy influences me to move forward or not, right? Because the difference between I don't want to do it, what if I lose love, it's too hard, right? What if I don't be consistent versus, something else. And now we'll move forward to the changing process, right? So the next step after I identify the emotion and the thoughts with those emotions, I acknowledge that that's what's there, and I activate the willingness to accept that that's not going to work, and I accept the willingness to change to something different, right? And also just seeing like, oh, that's just going to get in my way, right? Okay, so now that I'm here, now that we're here, okay, now what's a meaning or a perception that I can create, right? One that makes me feel lighter, easier, more inclined to take action, more inspired, more motivated. Okay, because for me, it's okay. So I recognize that I'm making this harder than it needs to be, right? So the story that I'm going to create, the perception that I'm going to create is, and this is again, I go to the body. Okay, go to my body. What genuinely feels good, right? What feels in alignment, what feels inspirational, what feels more empowering than all this other crap I just said, all right? And we'll just go with it. It's again, now I'm changing the beliefs. It's really easy to do. It takes less than 10 minutes, and it will provide me a massive sense of energy, self-esteem, happiness, fulfillment, joy, and it allows me to be who I want to be. Right? So now I'm creating this association, this meaning that, oh, eating a healthy meal today is gives me access to fulfillment, is a key to me having the life that I want so much, so badly, and that I'm gonna feel immense joy and power and happiness just by eating this food. Oh, and not only that, there's a thousand different benefits that come with that, right? And humor me here. Better sex, right? Better performance as a coach. I get to be happier as an individual. I get to be happier, right? A better brother, a better friend, right? It'll create momentum that will inspire me to take more inspired actions, right? So, okay, now I'm more present to a more empowering belief. Good, right? And so this is the next step, at least in my opinion and my experience, is, it's nice that I have the empowering feeling, right? But now what's next is to be willing to have the courage to go and take the action. And what that looks like is, okay, when it's time to eat lunch, I get up and I just go do it, right? Now there's the go do it, right? There's the just shut up and go do it tool, which is a powerful tool. And shut up and just go do it, or stop complaining and just go do it, is way more empowering than being like, nah, I don't want to. Let me grab the PS4 and just play. Let me just. Well, what would sound better? Cheeseburger and fries, and oh yeah, right. And what's interesting is take note of that energy behind cheeseburger and let me delay, right? So the energy behind delaying and not doing healthy stuff is like, oh, it's so empowering. Yes, let's delay. Yeah, right? And so the key here is to create that same sense of excitement and all that with the actual action items that will lead us towards the actual things that we want, right? Because as that's where you have to be in the big picture, right? And again, this is not about bashing fast food or anything like that. It's more like, if we have a dedicated goal in mind, then those goals require certain actions in order to achieve them, right? And for example, if your goal is to lose 20 pounds, right, by the end of the year, or 10 pounds by the end of the year, the reality is that, you know, you can eat fast food in moderation, but you can't just have it anytime you want, right? There has to be a sense of order. There has to be a sense of realizing like, okay, I can eat it this many times, but once I get past that point, I'm not going to reach the desired goal, right? So that's when it's important to employ and apply this whole method so that you can go towards the healthy items as often as you need to, and you can and so then you can look at it reverse, right? So then you have the story, right? Let's use this example of losing weight, okay? Right? So then, oh, and I know that's a charged area for all of us, for many of us, right? Um, you know, some people have a story of like, oh, I'm not allowed, if I'm gonna be healthy, I can't eat food I like. I can't have pizza. I can't have, which is not true, which is definitely not true, right? And so again, right, you find this disempowering energy within you, and you go through this whole process again, right? Tap into the body, see what comes up, see if you can find some deeper things at play, see how this disempowering story is preventing you, right, preventing you from following through, right? Because if the story is, oh, if I want to be healthy, I can't have the things I love, well, then who the heck is gonna do that, you know? And then it becomes a strain, right? A strenuous process. Like, I gotta push, I gotta say no to everything I love. Ugh, right? And although that can work, uh, it's creating more strain and stress than really needs to be, right? And not only that, but there can be a lack of fulfillment because it's like, I want to be healthy and enjoy the things I love. You know, I want to be able to say yes to In-N-Out with my sister because that's how we bond, right? I want to be able to have chips, you know, chips as just kind of like a nothing mindless escape, right? But then the empowering story is I'm allowed to have my mindless chip time, right? And I need to keep it in check because there's a limit. There's a limit to how often I can do that, right? And I'll find other ways to be mindless. But if I'm dedicated towards a certain fitness goal or a health goal, then I just have to get clear on how often I can afford to do that, right? As well as how often I need to show up and eat healthy and things like that, right? So to recap, you know, identify the goal you want, identify the action steps that would allow you to get there, and then start to notice if you have resistance in your body. Okay, resistance in your body. See what emotions come up, and see what thoughts are underneath these emotions. I don't want to do it. It's hard. If I do it, I might fail. If I do it, I might not follow through. If I do it, people might judge me, right? Um, and then take ownership of the fact that that's not going to work. That's not going to help you. And then be willing to make the shift towards something more empowering, right? I'll be safe and I'll be fine and I can do it, right? Eating healthy leads to fulfillment. Eating healthy allows me to be who I want to be. Eating healthy is fun, easy, and enjoyable and pleasurable, right? And then the next step is to have the willingness to just go do it and to carry the empowering perspective within you. And this is really the difference here, right? Is that you have to consciously create this new perception, which will counteract the old perception, right? Because the old perception is your default because you've been playing it for so long, right? And so in order to solidify a new process, a new thought process, a new perception, it requires conscious energy, right? That's why we have to-do lists. That's why we put, you know, quotes on our wall, right? That's why we have these things in front of our face, because we need it to be right in front of us, or else we're gonna go back to all the old stuff, right? And then you just continue the process over and over and over. And it's like a muscle, right? And at first it might seem tedious. It might seem like, really, I have to do this for everything. And, you know, only do it for things that require it. But I'm just going to be very blunt with you. Like, yes, yes, this is what's required. this is what's required. Okay. But, be open to finding your process, um, and take from my process what serves you best. Because the whole point here is we want to have the results we want to have. We want to stop doing bullshit in our life, right? And we want to feel good along the way, right? And so, um, utilize this tool and this process to serve you and to help you do that, right? Because it has helped me tremendously, and I know it's helped so many other people tremendously. It's a very what's the word, standard process. Change the meaning, change the way you see things, change the way you react to things, right? So anyways, hopefully this video found you well. um, the typical schedule moving forward will be 3 videos a week. One dedicated towards the topic of marijuana and things like that, because that's what this channel has been about for a long time. And then 2 videos that aren't about that topic and are more about this kind of stuff, general personal development, spirituality, productivity, happiness, all that stuff, right? But anyways, that's it for today. Wherever you're at is where you're meant to be. And as always, guys, I love y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.